Are you ready to stop the self-sabotage and create the life you desire? Well, in order for that to happen, you need to break free from the bad beliefs that are holding your success hostage. You need to optimize the stress by turning it into extra energy for success. And those hurtful habits? Well, we need to give that pain a purpose for progress. Welcome to Stop the Self-Sabotage and Create the Life You Desire podcast.
Is that you are not broken, you are not flawed, you do not need to be fixed. That the bad habit that you have that is holding you back is simply a learned response that you had to engage in to be able to survive whatever you had going on. Because you have been taught to overcompensate for other people. What? Yeah. In fact, behavioral science tells us that 80% of who you are as an adult, you learned by age 8, not based on your brilliance and that you were so phenomenal and what was great about you, because hey, there's not too many 8-year-olds that can actually show us all of that. No, what you experienced was how to overcompensate for an adult in your life or someone in authority, maybe an older sibling, who needed you to be something that they wanted for them to be okay. All right? So you had to bring out a part of your personality to make life okay for them. I'll give you an example of this right now. There's a set of young parents that I know where the relationship is very rocky. They don't get along. So the kid picks this up, that their son, I don't know, maybe about second grade, and he acts out so they can take the attention off of each other and put it on him. And he's either acting out or he's being the absolute superstar in one of their eyes to try to fill in for the partner that is being dysfunctional. It's not just this partnership. We've all been through this. And this is how we develop bad habits to begin with. The seed is planted within us at a young age on to make life better for someone else. And then this is what we're told to do. We're told to write down our dreams and goals, chant affirmations, create pretty pictures in our head. A pile of poop with whipped cream on it is still freaking poop. We're trying to make it okay for the part of our identity that learned to make it okay for everybody else, but not bring out our brilliance, what's magnificent about us, because that's what's on the other side of our dysfunction. That's what's on the other side of the bad habit. Now, what I want to share with you today is a 4-part system that I train other hypnotherapists in. See, I happen to be a certified hypnotist, as well as an instructor, as well as a rapid results coach. Woohoo, you don't give a rat's ass about the initials behind my name. That's for my own edification. What it means for you is that I know how to get you from where you are to where you want to be as quick as possible, because the longer it takes for success to arrive, the longer it takes for you to experience results, the more you are reinforcing that part of your identity that says you need to overcompensate for other people and the lack of their brilliance, their worth, their value and esteem. And then that bad habit will show up. Now, why is that bad habit here? Because it's going to save you. It's going to allow you to express what you need for you, but in a very dysfunctional way. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's not your fault. You've heard me say this before. You were born to be a success, but you were conditioned to be a victim. Oh, what do I mean by that? Victims have to change who they are so the bully won't hurt them. They have to learn to maladapt. Not your fault, but you have to take 100% responsibility about moving forward now. So it wasn't your fault that you were conditioned to experience this, but it is your responsibility to upgrade it. So again, being a victim, well, you needed something to save you, and that's the bad habit. I'm going to give you some examples of this with clients that I've actually worked with. So a gentleman who was raised on a farm in the middle of nowhere, didn't even go to school, was homeschooled. Absolutely not just lonely, but starving for attention. And told himself one day he was going to get it. And he did. When he was a teenager, he ran away to the big city and met up with a group of gentlemen. And they were doing a habit that he wanted to be accepted by them. So he picked up the same habit they had. They were all smoking. Okay, this was the habit that was going to save him. It was going to allow him to have friends because it's what's known as an affinity bridge in behavioral science. An affinity bridge is something that we have in common, that we can cross over back and forth. It's a shared experience that we have. I have an affinity bridge with you. I know how to get you results as quick as possible. That's what I'm sharing with you today. Will you cross over that bridge with me? Well, I'm going to give you the 4 phases of it, and then you get to decide. But you've got bad habits in your life right now, whether it's with your health, it's in your relationships, it's in the amount of money that you are making, it's in how you hold yourself back so others won't feel bad. You dim down your brilliance. You've got something in place now. And that bad habit is going to save you. It was originally put in place to assist you. There was another gentleman that I worked with here recently where most teenagers will pick up smoking because they want to be accepted by others. That's not the reason why he picked up the smoking habit. He picked up the smoking habit because he wanted to be noticed. He wanted to be the first one in his group. He actually had leadership skills, but he didn't know how to express them in a way that was healthy. So that habit was going to be here to save him. Here, you be the first one, and have all the other kids go, ooh, look at you. Worked with a woman that would overeat in public in a way that actually disgusted others, and they were pointing at her. She couldn't figure out why couldn't she give it up. She couldn't give it up because she was conditioned when she was a little kid. The only way to get attention was by the way she ate. Okay. Another woman, the only way she thought that she could have a loving relationship was to fail in her different business endeavors and have her husband save her. Wow. That can be a real hard way to continue in a relationship, because after a while, one person is going to get really tired of always having to save the other one. But that's what she had learned. Here's the challenge, though, when you pick up a bad habit. It is simply an expression of you. That's saying, if this is the only way I can get certainty in my life, I can get attention, I can get acceptance, I could get validation. If that is the only way that it's going to happen, I'm going to do it. But there's always a price to be paid with dysfunction. So this habit actually started as a way to save you, to get you, one, of those, what we call the core four: certainty, variety, worthiness, and validation. But now the price that it's extracting from you is it is driving you further into a victim mindset. How does that show up? Well, when I typically work with a client on any area of their life, money, love, health, doesn't matter, they have failed epically 8 times before they've come see me. This is not the diet that hasn't worked a few times. This is years and years of nothing seems to work. I start moving forward, but success does not stick because your subconscious mind has been conditioned to maladapt. Okay, by the way, anything that I share with you, whether you're on this live or you're catching it by the replay, if I share something with you that's very insightful and you're like, this is something that I want to use about moving forward, do hashtag aha. Between now and Friday, I'm going to monitor your ahas. And if you have any questions, I'll do my best to jump on there and give you some customized suggestions. But between now and Friday, I'm going to be looking at those ahas. On Friday, I'm going to pick a winner for our course called Stop the Self-Sabotage, Discover What You Really Want, and Create the Life You Desire. And it's going to go in depth on the 4-part process that I'm going to be sharing with you today, but it teaches you how to do it for yourself. So hashtag aha on Friday at some point, maybe Saturday morning, because Friday night I got a concert I'm going to. So sometime between Friday and Saturday, I'm going to pick a winner. Okay. So let's get into what it is that you need to know about breaking the back of lack in your life and using this habit to actually bring you out at your very best. So we all have different aspects to our personality. You're one person when you're hanging out. Like I said, Friday night, I'm going to a concert, Santana. Okay, so that part of my personality, with, just having a great time with my friends while we're there, that part of my personality comes out, but that's going to be a different part than the aspect of my personality whenever I am coaching a client through a really difficult situation. I got a couple of clients coming up to where if I were to be jamming down and dancing around, it would be completely inappropriate to the situation that they have because they have primary relationships that are falling apart right now that I need to be able to assist them in moving through in a way that's going to bring them out at their best, even though they're in pain right now. So you've got to give your pain the ability for progress. That was another client I worked with. She had been in an abusive relationship where restraining orders and broken bones and broken restraining orders were the norm. She was in it for years. She finally got out. She's finally safe. She's in a healthy relationship. She has a beautiful child. Why couldn't she let go of the pain of that first relationship? Because her mind was still in protection. It was still maladapting. So we utilized hypnosis, tapping into the powerful part of her mind, and gave it the instructions, okay, you need to find a way for this to be progress now. Because the pain of continuing in life by always waiting for someone to hurt you is no longer allowed. That's what we worked on. And now she's writing a book for other women who are in abusive relationships, and they need to know the steps to get out, to get free, to be safe, but to start to live again. I didn't come up with that. Her powerful mind did, but it was on the other side. It was another aspect of her that had been undeveloped because she was so wrapped up in I need to just get through the day. It is the same way with you. Your bad habit has got you wrapped in a cocoon of protection. And you have really developed that aspect of your personality. It is phenomenal, but now it's got a stranglehold on you. Because in the same way, our caterpillar that has put itself into a cocoon and it's going through the metamorphosis and now it's ready to emerge as a butterfly, it can't continue to stay in the cocoon. And yet that's what's happening to you. This is the reason why you feel like this bad habit's got a stranglehold on you. Remember, anything I share with you, hashtag aha. Or if you got a question, cue and then give me the question. But hashtag aha insight will start bringing out that identity, that aspect of you that knows how to begin to grow and revealing the real you, but it hasn't been placed in the environment where it's been needed. That's the 4-part process that I'm going to give you. So you have different aspects to you. You have one aspect of you that you bring out whenever you're in an intimate moment with a partner. Now it would be complete to bring that out. Oh, wait, and yet that's what some people will do, is that they will actually bring out that intimate part of them inappropriately at work, and this is what gets them into trouble. And you're doing it for the core 4: certainty, or because you need an energy hit, you need attention, you need validation. Okay. So the part of your personality that holds this bad habit, it has learned to maladapt. And now it is continuing to hold you back. So this is what we're looking for. We're looking for reveal, release, relearn, and rejoice. This is the 4-part process that we take every hypnotist through to assist them with their own clients whenever we're training them. Reveal is whenever we go back to the origination of the part of the personality. Release, we no longer have it acting out in that way. Relearn, I'm going to go more in depth on each of these. Relearn is going to be where we're looking at what aspect of your personality, undeveloped, needs to step in. And then rejoice, a plan of action that you're going to put together as reinforcement for this identity upgrade. By the way, if you're like, okay, what you're saying makes sense and I need to be able to talk to you in a more private way, you can call me direct, or you can text the word consult and I'll send you back some times. But the way you contact me is 636-699-7791. Because we're talking about some sensitive stuff here. And you don't necessarily want to put those questions out on Facebook that other people can view. So you do have the ability to reach out to me privately. I'm here to have a conversation with you. I'm here to connect you to the piece of you that holds your brilliance, as well as giving your pain a purpose. Okay, so let's get a little bit further into this 4-part process. Release. This is when you go back to the origination of what's known as the imprint. When you first decided that this is what you needed to do to make it okay for someone else, or to try to just get through the situation that you're in. I said earlier about how I've been a little rebel all my life, and that actually came about whenever I was 13 and my dad and I got into a disagreement. It was a pretty physical disagreement, and he broke my arm. And at that point, I decided I was never going to go along with another authority figure, because if I did, this is what was going to happen. Now, that has served me as I've entered what's called my wise woman status. But for about the first 35 years of my life, that didn't work so well, because I was looking for a fight everywhere I went. So you have something known as the RAS, your reticular activating system. And your RAS is designed to find everything in your environment to support your emotionally dominant thoughts, not just your thoughts, which is the reason why affirmations have been shown typically not to work. Because what's the emotion behind them? You can go around chanting all you want. Oh, I have all the money in the world. I'm rich. I'm wealthy. And if behind it is doubt, then you're driving in further doubt that you can make the money. And that's the aspect of your personality that you're triggering, not the one that holds your worth and value. So we have to go back to the time when your mind first decided that this is how you needed to be. This is how life was going to be for you. This is the reason why I love hypnosis, because it is so easy to be able to bring out that response. If you have to do it consciously, the conscious mind will move way too slow. I love therapists. I have trained so many in hypnosis techniques, but they're going to tell you it's going to be months typically for a breakthrough on something, because they're using the conscious mind. The conscious mind is able to process 50 bits of information every single second. The subconscious, where all of your memories and all of your emotions are kept, 11 million. 11 million versus 50. No wonder it takes so long to try to get results whenever you're only dealing with it from the conscious mind. So we go back to the time when your mind first decided that this should be a challenge for you and that you needed to overcompensate for it to be okay. Then we tell it that it no longer has to show up in this situation. This piece of you that we just revealed, so we've got reveal and then release. This piece of you that we've brought out, we let it know it no longer has to be triggered by these conditions and these situations. But this part of your identity is always going to be around. So we have to give it something new to do. What are we going to do? We're going to allow it to share with you what it is absolutely phenomenal at. So Relearn actually has two parts to it. Relearn has this original part. What is it that it needs to do for you to be absolutely phenomenal? But then we bring out the piece of you that is underdeveloped. We bring out the piece of you that now has a vacancy that it can step into. Some hypnotists call it inner advisor. Others call it soul self. Maslow called it being self-actualized. I don't care what you decide to name it, but it is the piece of you that is ready to be fully expressed for the type of life that you want. Remember how I told you about the woman that was overeating because that's what she learned as a child to get attention? Well, so we released the child, and then we asked the mature part of her that knew how to express itself and get attention, but in a healthy way. We asked for it to show up. She wound up going into stand-up comedy. Who knew? People are still pointing and laughing, but it's no longer around her weight. Now, this is something else that you want to know. Relearning is a social experience. This is not something that you can do all on your own. Because if it was, you would have already done it. You'd already have the results with your weight, with your finances, with your love life. You'd already have the results that you wanted. Okay. Relearning needs to be done with at least one or a group of people, because that's the reason why you started overcompensating in an unhealthy way to start with, was for somebody else. Okay. I'm going to give you the ability to be able to relearn in a group by joining us at Vista. Vista is a 2-day mastermind for wealth, health, and happiness breakthroughs. It's all about personal development. You can find more information at drewdawnferguson.com/Vista. All right, let's put everything together. Number 1, reveal the part of you that has been held back because you learned to overcompensate for someone else. Release. It no longer has to be triggered and show up in an unhealthy way. Relearn. You got to give it something else to do, or else it will come back and sabotage you. And then you need to bring out the part of your personality that has been undeveloped, that knows how to get you the results that you want. And then finally, rejoice. That's what we're doing right now. You need to put together a pat on the back as a thank you that is going to reinforce the identity of you being a success. See, it's not a diet. It's not a strategy for asking for more money. It is not a system you follow for more love. It is an identity that needs to be brought out in you that holds all of that. This is the reason why you haven't achieved success and kept it long term, is because it's the identity that you have. The strategies and the tactics are then to reinforce that identity. But if you start with the goal first, and then you start with a strategy and tactic, and you don't get to who you need to be in order for all of that to work first, it will fail you. Okay. So your plan of action, you need to put together some sort of reward, some sort of pat on the back every couple of weeks, every 2 to 3 weeks for the first 13 weeks. 13 is a very beautiful number. It is actually a feminine number. So you want to do a little bit of research to see who decided to attach any negative connotations to the number 13. But it's a feminine number, and the feminine side of you is all about receiving that success. Not that you have to go out and work longer and harder for it. So it takes 13 weeks, 91 days for an identity upgrade, which is the reason why I said they're social experiences. I'm inviting you into that experience, whether it's a conversation with me, 636-699-7791, or it's joining a group of others that are ready for this identity upgrade. Go to drewdawnferguson.com/Vista. VISTA stands for vision, inspiration, strategies, tactics, and achievement. But if we don't start with the vision of you, ain't gonna work long term. Okay, so every 2 to 3 weeks, you need to do something for yourself that gives you a pat on the back. It's a thank you until this identity upgrade has become mature enough to begin to handle any setbacks that you're going to experience, because you will have some. We both know that. So you want to do your thank you, your bribe, your paycheck every 2 to 3 weeks based on your learning modality. Are you a visual learner? Do you, when you think of things, can you see them in bright, bold, beautiful colors? Are you a kinesthetic learner? No, it's more about how you feel, or it's touch. You know, whenever I was a little kid and mom would put on my socks, if the line on the toes wasn't exactly perfect, I would scream. She had no idea what was wrong with me. I was simply a kinesthetic learner. What impacts me physically impacts me emotionally and mentally as well. Or maybe you're an auditory learner. It's what you hear. Whatever your learning modality, that's how you want to base your reward. So if you're visual, maybe you want to go to the movies. If you're auditory, maybe you want to buy yourself some music that you'd really enjoy. If you're kinesthetic, hey, get that massage. But every 2 to 3 weeks for 13 weeks until you have your identity upgrade. Okay, your 4-part process for breaking free is breaking free of how you were taught to overcompensate for others so their life would be okay. But in doing so, it then started a victim mindset. And when you're a victim, you have to look for something that's going to save you. And that's what that bad habit was going to do originally. Overeating was going to soothe you. Smoking the cigarettes was going to get you acceptance. Being quiet and putting other needs first was going to give what was supposed to be love, but really just turned out to be manipulation. It's not letting go of the bad habit. It is letting go of that hurt that has held you back by giving it a purpose for your progress through reveal, release, relearn, rejoice. You have questions? Hey, 636-699-7791. I'm inviting you to have a conversation with me, not a sales pitch, but a conversation on what you need to know to bring yourself out at your best. And then if we think we're a good fit for each other, I'll give you a suggestion on that next step. You can also go to drewdawnferguson.com/Vista and see how we're creating social experiences for identity upgrades. So until we get together again, keep this in mind. You have a unique brilliance about you. It's what makes you beautiful, because beauty is simply an outer expression of inner harmony. You are brilliant. You've just been taught to dim it down because you've been giving your power and energy for that brilliance to someone else or something else. It's time for you to take your power back and turn your light on brighter than ever, because for a lot of people, their world is pretty dark and they need your illumination for them to understand that they too can be empowered. So until we get together again, go out and be brilliant. Bye now.